guys. Welcome to this week's episode of Stream Squad. If it's your first time tuning in, I'm Angela.
And I am Jimmy. How's it going, everybody?
There's no response. I'm here too. I'm Dan. Please let us know how you're doing in the comments. That'd be great. Love to see. We're just back now from NAB. Had a good time out there.
Yeah.
Just starting to get our voices back, so that's nice.
Yeah, you guys did a special show last week.
And then I could barely talk at that point.
Yeah.
And that was midway through. So
another person we have here, we do have Nick on just for the first segment. So he's here as well. He's got some important stuff to talk about. I think we all do. We'll have a nice recap of the NAB, everything we saw there. Jimmy's got some show and tell for later that we're pretty excited. You might be able to see a preview of that. That's right there.
Sneaky.
So yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later in a user group segment. Do have some good industry news, and of course have a great live video strategy piece as well. And one of my favorite users as our MADEWITHSWITCHER. So let's, I guess, hop right into it, right?
Yeah.
Angela, you want to cue up our industry news?
Sure. So this first topic is a really big one that a lot of you guys have been asking about. It's been all over the news and other social media sites. But there has been an update done to Facebook security, and Nick's going to talk to us a little more about that and just what's going on.
All set?
Yeah, go for it, Nick.
All right, so last week there were some changes with Facebook and the API. Lots of companies were affected. We were fortunate as an official Facebook Live partner to not have a big impact. There are some reports of comments when streaming in groups not showing the name or photo for the people that are leaving those comments. So that is something that was a result of these changes. We're in contact with Facebook and working through that and sharing information with them. They've been in the news a lot lately, and you hear the word Facebook and security, and it's easy to jump to conclusions, but a lot of us here use Facebook. You're probably watching this video on Facebook, unless it's the YouTube replay. And Facebook has your data, they have your information, and that's one of the reasons that it's so personalized and it's such a good experience. The conversation that's happening now is what happens when third parties access your Facebook data and people that are taking that data and building their own graphs outside of Facebook. So really, Facebook hasn't done anything with your data. It's third parties that are taking that information and the whole Cambridge Analytics stuff that's going on in the news right now. So with Mark Zuckerberg speaking in front of Congress, in this news cycle, they are making drastic changes for the better. I think this is a conversation that we should all be having, and we'll keep you updated as we learn more. But right now, the only impact that has been affecting our customers and Switcher users are when you broadcast to a group, not being able to see those comments in the app. So in the meantime, you can still jump over to Facebook, watch the stream there, and follow those comments. And like I said, we're hooked in and we're in contact with our friends over at Facebook, and we'll send more updates as we learn more.
Awesome. Yeah, we just wanted to bring Nick in to give that little bit of update. I think he's actually has to run and make some other phone calls and stuff. So we're going to let him go. I'm going to mute his mic so when he does. Yeah, thank you, Nick, for that update. That's really good. Important information. And, I mean, as more news hits with that, we'll be sure to let you know and tell you how it's going to affect us.
Yeah, and not to get too into the weeds about it, but I mean, and not to get like political about it either. The important thing is that Facebook's trying to protect users from getting their information taken out of context, and I think that's what ultimately happened is somebody took their data and took it out of Facebook and was using it for purposes that go beyond just the scope of Facebook. And so that's why, some of those features may be turning off, and that's the reason things are changing, is to kind of take away avoid people taking everything out of the Facebook context and being able to use things against you, So it's a bigger conversation that probably ultimately needs to happen, and it's just making sure that, we're going to be staying in line and be part of that, So,
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for that. Let's go to something a little more exciting, a little more, well, I don't know about exciting is the right word, but a little more fun, right?
Yeah, not so, yeah. Kind of
Angela,
a downer topic.
A little bit of an update on Instagram, right?
Yeah, so Instagram's got a new feature that's coming out very soon. They're saying within the next month. But you guys might be aware that for Facebook or Twitter or many other sites, there's a way to download all of your data, including your posts and everything you've done to it. And up to this point, Instagram has not given that option. So if it's on Instagram, it's on there only, unless you're using some kind of third-party system to try to log into it. But what Instagram is doing is they are creating a new tool that will be out by May 25th, and that will give you the rights to download all of your content. So your photos, your videos, any direct messages, you'll be able to download those in one nice little file. You can also, they're going to see about letting you export followers and your following, past stories you've done, especially ones that are saved on there, and also some of your comments and captions. So one reason that it's taken a while for them to do this is to make sure Instagram kind of remains on top for photo sharing. They're not letting people export that data. Now it's kind of a topic of, are people going to be able to switch to another site easier? But for me personally, I think Instagram's got a pretty good layout. I don't really see this affecting Instagram, but especially with updates like what's going on with Facebook, a lot of people are wanting to kind of get a record of what's been done with their account. And I think this will ease some of the worry people might be having that they couldn't do that with Instagram.
Do you all think this like gives people ownership of their content? Like just got better in a kind of by offering that ability, does it give it back to the people in some way maybe? I don't know.
Now you can go make a photo book.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
But,
print
yeah.
your photos.
You know, all this time you never knew this like free online thing you're using might be useful one day. So I think it's kind of interesting to think of it like that. Like you're getting access to the stuff that you've been doing the whole time. I know I have a bunch of photos and I'm thinking like, oh, I don't need to print photos. They're all on Facebook, you know.
Yeah.
So
But you never look at them, right? Once they're way
they're
back
up there. And, you know, occasionally you'll go back through memory lane, but
Yeah, I think especially like as time goes on, like, you know, for me, I've had my Instagram for about 5 years, really used it for about 2 or 3, so it still takes a while, but it's not hard to just scroll back and see stuff I've done. But, you know, when you look at sites I've been on for a long time, like Facebook or Twitter, it could also just be really interesting to get that data and see what did I post in 2007, 2008.
Totally.
So that could also be a benefit.
Part of the conversation on this topic is also related to the changes happening in the European Union and what web providers can do with your information. And one of the big goals of those changes for the European Union and when it comes to data is portability. So not having your information stuck in one platform and kind of allowing room for competition or people to move to other services. And you know, Instagram, again, does a lot of things well, and it really is probably the go-to photo app. But being able to take those photos and print them or use them on another service, that might be something that's now available with some of these changes.
yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's one of those things. I look back at some of those pictures. I'm like, man, I wish I could take them off without just doing like a screen capture or something and then cropping them. So, yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's something that's kind of needed as well. Great, that's awesome. That's the industry news we've got for this week. I guess we'll switch gears a little bit and now get into our live video strategy, where we've got 2 things. We've got a great blog post that just went out on our website, and we also have some news about a conference coming up. Which one do you guys want to talk about first? Conference. I'm making the decision. Angela or
well,
Jimmy?
I've actually got both of these.
Yeah. Okay, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Tell us about
to
Summit.
Be fair.
Yeah, Jimmy. Tell us about
So
it.
yeah, there's a conference coming up, and it is called SummitLive. It's going to be in San Francisco, California, on May 30th. Someone's going to have to double check.
I'll double check. Yes, that is correct. You
Right
got
around
it.
the time
Nick's
May
giving a
30th.
thumb up.
And Nick's giving me a thumbs up because amongst companies like Microsoft, Salesforce, and Twitch, Switcher Studio is also going to be represented there by our own Nick Mattingly, who's going to be giving a talk on one of those days in a workshop kind of format. And don't want to spoil anything for you yet, but if you're going to Summit Live, you should definitely check out Nick. And especially if you're going to be there, you should be using the coupon code that we've got provided. There's going to be a link that Dan is going to post on this video. And if you are attending, if you haven't bought your ticket yet, you should use that code to get 25% off your ticket. But Summit Live is it's for business-to-business marketers, and it's just a conference that's all about tech and live streaming solutions. You can get some information on learning how to convert convert your efforts into sales, and also just learn about engagement strategies. Just kind of a deeper view of some of the stuff we do here on your weekly live, but just learning from people from all over the world and industry professionals from all sorts of different major companies, like I listed before. Microsoft, Salesforce, and Twitch are some of the featured.
Can we start a company called Salesforce?
Yeah, Salesforce. I think that's the yeah. Let's do it. You and me. Let's do it. You know, let's all do it. Let's just make it. Buy the domain quick. Salesforce. Yeah, make sure Safe Search is on. But anyhow, but yeah, if you're going to be in San Francisco, if you're interested in that, it's worth a look. And Nick Mattingly is going to be there talking. So at least go say hi to Nick if you're in the San Francisco area.
And quick note, if you're not able to attend this event, there are going to be 3 other Summit Live sessions throughout the year. One in New York, one in Las Vegas. And,
Orlando, I think, or
maybe,
is it
maybe
Florida,
Orlando.
I think, or somewhere.
But there are 3 more events coming up this year. This will be the first in that series, and as Jimmy mentioned, very focused on kind of business marketing and how you can use live video within that space.
Yeah, I mean, we did Summit Live last year. It was a pretty fun event as well. We helped stream their entire second day. That was the first time that we really showed off the Ethernet setup and being able to wire all your cameras, and that was really cool to do, to get that done the first time. So, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, I've never been to this, but I hear it's going to be somewhat different from the past experiences. So, for better or for worse, Summit Live coming up soon. It's looking to be an interesting thing, and we're going to be represented there. So we're excited about that.
Yeah. So before we get into the next one, I'm seeing one comment in here, and I'm not exactly sure I understand the question right. If it's a switcher problem you're having, Mimo, go ahead and email our support at switcherstudio.com, and we'll be happy to help you out there. It's something with the Facebook Live. It sounds like move your music. Why can they not be flush back? I'm not exactly sure I'm understanding the terminology, but we might be able to figure that out if you shoot us a support email.
All right.
All right, cool. So the other thing, this blog post that just went up.
Yeah, if you're not aware, in addition to our weekly live streams, we also have a blog, and you can find that at switcherstudio.com/blog. And if you're not into typing things out, you can also subscribe to our blog with the big subscribe button that you'll find on the right side. And then you'll get an email whenever we post something new, and you can just click on that link and you don't have to get your fingers tired, right? So anyhow, this week's blog post is about, it's all about how to give just a killer interview. And there are 15 main points in this blog post. I'm just going to do a very brief synopsis and just tease you with about 3 of them. But just in the context of Switcher Studio makes doing interviews and making a live broadcast with interviews more engaging, because we can have the lower third component where you can bring in the names of the people that you're interviewing. And so that just kind of helps to drive home like who we're talking to, put the conversation into context, reminding people constantly who it is you're talking to and why they're qualified to answer some of the questions, which it's not even on my list of 3. That's one of the points that you should do, is constantly remind people who it is you're talking to and reintroduce your guest. But one of the first things that you want to do whenever you're doing an interview is you want to kick it off right. You want to start with some high energy, and that high energy is going to inform your guest that they're also going to feed off of that and also proceed with high energy. So that's number 1 thing that you need to do. Actually, that one's number 6 on the list. So
that's the first one that we're going to tell you about here today.
So there's 5 more before that. You should really go check it out. Remember, switcherstudio.com/blog. We're really excited about this. Another one that you should really, before you kick off, you should set some expectations. Tell your guest exactly what you're going to be getting out of this. Just remind them that we're just going to keep this conversational, and just tell the guest the goals. And remember to remind people, keep going if you messed up. I've probably messed up 20 times since we started going live, but as long as we keep the conversation moving forward, it's really not too distracting. The last thing I want to bring up that's on the list, amongst many other things, is asking follow-up questions. Maybe you started off with 5 to 7 questions that you really wanted to get to, but if you pay attention to what people are talking about, you can probably dig out a few more questions that might be relevant to the main idea that you're trying to get across. So pay attention and ask those follow-up questions. But that's all I'm going to leave it at for right now, okay? I don't want to give away the whole thing. Please go check it out at the blog. We put some work into making that happen. And again, if you're not interested in writing down notes every time we're giving you strategy here, you can just go to our blog and it's already written out for you. You can
Yeah.
bookmark that and just see them every week when we post them. So please go check it out.
I guess we can do a secondary tip if you're just recording an interview. This is something Nick and I back in college, we had a class where we did a documentary, and how we did it was Nick would go in and start having a conversation. I would go with the person we were interviewing. I would set up the camera and start recording, and before they know it, the interview's over, and they didn't even know the camera's rolling yet. So, yeah, just a neat way to start doing an interview, because sometimes you get those cameras rolling, and everyone just freezes and stops, and they're like thinking they're 10 words ahead in what they're going to say, and because of that, they're not giving the right content when you're just having a conversation.
Yeah, ultimately,
it comes out much more
you want people to
naturally.
forget about the camera, but you don't want to say, don't think about the camera, because that's the worst thing to do to make somebody not think about the camera. It's really easy if you've got two people going, just to start a conversation and get the other person to hit, press record.
Also, iPhones are real small, and so it's
You can
almost
hide
like
them, right?
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put it in the bushes, put it in the ivy. That's for you,
Hide
Anthony.
one back here. Oh wait,
Yeah,
what's that?
Yeah,
Just
I know a good one I used to do in college for interviews is, even if they know the camera's there, even if it's someone who's good at speaking, usually those first couple of minutes can be a little rough where, they're still getting their voice warmed up, they're, sometimes sitting kind of rigid, they're not really relaxed. So a lot of times I would start recording and just ask them basic questions like, what's your name, what's your age, kind of, things that aren't going to be in the real interview, but that gives them a few minutes to warm up, to relax, and then when you actually go in for the real questions, they're more likely to talk naturally instead of kind of a robotic, oh no, the cameras are on me right now kind
Exactly.
of thing.
Yeah.
Well, all that and more
on the blog,
on
right?
the blog.
SwitcherStudio.com.
Yeah, just to give you an idea,
/
Nick mentioned the iPhones are small. I mean, that might be another live video strategy, is how to get creative with where you place them. Like this shot you're looking at with Nick here is clamped to the hinge of a door, and we've got a battery on there and everything. So yeah,
Nobody knows.
Nice and easy to do it.
We'll send a picture later. Go check us on Twitter.
So yeah, I think that's it for our live video strategy. Next, of course, we have our user group, and this is where we try, and if we get a lot of questions, we try and answer that here, or if there might be I don't know, something interesting happened in the user group that we like to talk about. So we'll get to the NAB recap, but first, I know, Angela, you've been getting a question a lot about SwitcherCast for PC, right?
Yeah, so for anyone not familiar, we do have a screen sharing component called SwitcherCast, which can be installed on Macs and PCs, and there's also a way to use the screen recording technique from iOS 11 to do iOS screen sharing with SwitcherCast as well. And we do get some questions about setting those up, quite a bit, but I've noticed recently there have been a lot of questions about how to use the PC version. So I do want to go over really quick what to expect, what to see, and what you guys need to know for now and the future. So the PC version is available. It is still in beta, but it is available for download onto Windows 10 computers. On our knowledge base article, there is a list of the requirements to use the beta version, and anything you guys notice that's good or could be better, feel free to send us information to support@switcherstudio.com. Essentially, you are all our beta testers for this. But what throws off a lot of people is when you install SwitcherCast on your PC, when you run it, you get a blank white box that pops up. And that is exactly what you're supposed to see. It just means that SwitcherCast is running. From there, you're able to go into your main device, your iPad or your iPhone, and in the input section where you would see the name of any other devices you have, you're able to then tap on your PC's name and it's going to connect right away. So when you see that white box, don't be alarmed. I know if you've used it for Mac, it looks a little different and there's some text in that box. But for the PC, you're just going to see that one box and it's going to go ahead and let you get started. Now, the other thing that has confused people with the PC and the Mac, just to make sure you know, SwitcherCast is for screen sharing only. So you're still going to need to control your broadcast from a device running Switcher Studio, which is an iPad or an iPhone. the computer is only going to grab that display and put it in, so there's not a way to do the controls from there. But those are the main things I've been seeing recently, especially for PC. I think just the difference between having the text on the Mac version and not having it on the PC version is a little of what's throwing people off. But as long as you see that, you're going to be good to go. And we are making more developments with SwitcherCast for PC, so we'll definitely let you guys know, coming through the rest of the year, any new updates that come with that.
Quick update on that. We had the team in the other day, and we made some big improvements on the beta version for Windows screen sharing, so it's performing better on computers with less horsepower, so you don't have to have a crazy i7. We will be improving the UI, so again, this is a beta version, and there are things that will work and won't work, but we're adding compatibility for director mode as well, so it'll be able to capture the frames from your desktop and send those over. So we are making good progress, and in the coming weeks should have an updated beta that we can publish and share with you all.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Exciting stuff. A lot of people ask about Windows compatibility, so it's like, we're working on it.
Yeah.
We're
Actively
there.
working on it.
We're getting there. So yeah, the other big user group thing that we kind of want to talk about is just our experience at NAB and talking with some of our users there. For those of you in the user group, you probably saw the stream that we did from Show Creator Studios, which was really cool having them there. We had guests bringing in. Jimmy, I know, has a lot to talk about on that. And Jimmy also has some show and tell, right?
Well, a little show and tell for a minute. Should I start with that or the Show Creator Studio stuff?
Well, I kind of queued up the show
You
creators,
kinda,
right?
yeah, you queued up. Let's roll the video because I don't really have much on our. This is forthcoming. I'm foreshadowing to some cool things.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went to Show Creator Studios. It is one of our users who you may have seen in the user group, Ian Harrington, who we met at NAB. He was working with Randy Altman's Post Perspective, and he also was kind enough to invite us to their location, and hopefully Dan's playing some B-roll.
Yeah, you're
here
getting
in a
the
minute.
B-roll there.
Of this great studio space. We were able to go live. We did about an hour and a half, or maybe an hour and 20 minutes. We were able to bring in people over. We brought in some people to talk over Facebook Messenger. Is that what we used? We were able to put that on the screen. We also had audio running from out of the computer. So we had a really interesting setup just to make all those things happen. And I think all in all, it was about a 5-camera setup. We got a great tour of this place. It's where Penn of Penn & Teller does a podcast, and there's a guitar upstairs signed by Carlos Santana, and Robert Daltrey's guitar is up there, and Steve Vai has a guitar upstairs. So it was a really interesting,
cool
eclectic kind of space, and we were able to utilize it to make a really great live production. You can kind of, maybe we'll link back to that stream that we did from NAB, and also that stream that we did from that Friday at Show Creator Studios. But just big thanks to Ian Harrington for allowing us to use that space. We had a lot of fun out there.
And a big thanks as well to all those who came out. Anthony was there. He was on our stream on Wednesday from the show, and I forget his.
Anthony probably took a lot of the B-roll that you just watched there. So Anthony Barocas, if you need a video guy to get some B-roll, he's the person to call. So
yeah, Anthony, thank you for doing that for us.
Thank you very much, Anthony, for doing that.
Jimmy just kind of started going through his files like, well, Anthony, I guess shot a bunch of B-roll
Anthony
for us,
shot
so
all
that's
this.
good.
I was walking around with a roving camera the whole time. So yeah, we had an Osmo going, and we had 3 iPads. We had one behind. You saw Dan was actually the producer and director at one point in time. But it's a lot of fun just to pull that size production together. There was pizza. I mean, what can you say?
Gotta have the pizza.
We had a pizza.
I talked a lot about the pizza.
Yes, Nick was very enthused about the pizza, and I think he got our audience really excited about it.
That was Nick's go-to when he wasn't sure in between guests or something what to talk. There's pizza here, guys.
So we'll be doing more meetups throughout the year as we go to other conferences and events. Be sure to tune in for our weekly lives. Check us on social, and we'll be sure to share out information for when we do those events in the future.
Yeah, so one of the other things that happened at NAB is we, of course, made some good connections with some companies and some great people there. So there's Ian, I see in the comments here saying, thanks for the shout out, guys. We had a lot of fun too. Yeah, thank you so much, Ian. It was great being there. But one of the places that you talked to, Jimmy,
That's
was
right.
Ceramonic, right?
I did.
You got
I
a
went
pretty
to
cool thing.
I went to meet up with somebody at Ceramonic. We were really busy, and you know, if you're watching this and you're another one of those companies that has products that would make it easier for our users to go live, send us an email, and we will gladly get in touch. This is one group that I had heard about before, and they have some pretty inexpensive tools that have a lot of features on them that our users ask for. So I was able to talk somebody from Ceramonic into letting us do a feature on one of their devices. This one's called the SmartRig Plus DI. It's essentially a 2-channel battery-powered with a 9-volt mixer for iOS devices. And I'm going to go way more in depth, but just for anybody who likes some of these buzz phrases, it's got a 3.5 millimeter jack, 2 3.5 millimeter jacks, so you can put a lavalier in, 2 lavaliers in fact. It's also got 1/4-inch input, and it has XLR input. Right here there's a mono versus stereo switch, which is great for people that are live streaming, and when the destination is going to automatically make your stream mono, but maybe you want to record in stereo, so you can still record in stereo. And I talked about this a couple weeks ago. It has a direct monitoring button on it, the switch, so you can decide whether you want to hear the input or if you want to hear the output for what's going to be going up live. It's also got 48-volt phantom power, headphone monitoring obviously, but man, this thing's like $150 and you get a mobile 2-channel mixer. I think like something like this is all you need to do just kind of a room mic and maybe an interview situation. So I'm going to be doing an in-depth video on how this works and how you can use it with Switcher. We might be featuring some other products by Ceramonic just to see what other things might work for you. But I'm really excited about this particular one because, yeah, I was able to track it down. And there's also a lot of other inexpensive products made by this company that could help. So there's some wireless lavaliers. They have a set of 2 that's pretty cheap. So be on the lookout for that. When I do, I also have to share it with them to let them know that I did these videos and give them thanks for giving us a model to test out and make sure that it's going to work for our users. So be on the lookout for that shortly.
I'm pretty impressed with it, and we did do a quick test with it. We haven't gone into we haven't put it through all the rows.
It comes with a case. I mean, that's great. Just keeps your stuff from just getting all scratched up and the bag that you throw everything into. It's in a nice little bag. It's got the knobs on it so you can control the volume of the different sources. There's a mono and stereo switch. Yeah, we'll get there.
It does it all. Did you all use that yesterday at the Pet Station stream?
We did not. Jimmy forgot to bring it out.
Yeah, unable to. But it would have been really useful because we could have just had one microphone going. So I think in the future this might be something that we're switching to. I mean, in the past we've used things like iRig, which has worked splendidly. No real complaints there. But I think there's definitely a use case for this. And so be on the lookout for how this could be something you'd like to use. They have a digital version with a lightning connector, and they have one with the traditional TRRS iOS audio input connector. So there's a couple options there.
Great.
Super cheap, it works. It's reliable, it sounds good so far. So we'll be doing some testing, we'll make a video. If I haven't said it enough, be on the lookout for that.
So far, so good. Thank you, Jimmy, for that little brief run through of the Ceramonic.
We'll just leave it there for now.
We said, we'll do a lot more to try and help everyone out.
That's right.
So yeah, that's our update from NAB. Again, it was great. Thank you for everyone who came by and stopped by and said, hey, if you were out there. That's one thing I thought was great this year is a lot of people were coming up. And last year, we'd asked them if they heard of Switcher, and a lot of them were saying they had. And this year, we had a lot of people coming up and were saying, yeah, I have heard of Switcher. I'm actually using Switcher. So it was great to meet all these users using it in all sorts of different ways. So yeah, great stuff from NAB. Last segment, I guess, Angela, if you want to talk about the Made with Switcher, how to get people who are using Switcher to show up on here, and yeah, maybe a little bit about the user group as well.
Yeah, so this is something that we go over each week. We do have an online community on Facebook called Switcher Studio Enthusiasts. We are very close to 2,500 members, so very excited about that. But it's a great place. It's really active. We've got people sharing, tips and tricks for Switcher Studio. We have people asking questions. Not only are all of us in the user group, but also the other members are willing to help out with questions and their own personal experiences, but also people will share their videos that they've done in the user group. If you're using Instagram or Twitter, you can also put the hashtag MADEWITHSWITCHER, and we check out that tag as well. But what we like to do is to show, a good example of, someone who's used Switcher Studio to make a really nice product. And this week we've got a video from Foamy Homies. So you guys, if you're already in the user group, might have seen Rick Quevedo. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that last name a little bit, but he's great in the group. He's been in there for a while, and he has his own puppet show that he does called Foamy Homies. About a week ago, he actually did a broadcast on Periscope using Switcher Studio. As of yesterday, it had gotten a lot of views already, a lot of great comments. So I know I was definitely happy to see this go up, and it sounds like everyone else in the office was pretty glad too.
Yeah, we've met him a few times before. We've met the Foamy Homie. He's actually has a Switcher Studio t-shirt, I think, out there that we put together for him as well.
I think he's still in our intro video.
Oh yeah, and he's in the intro video there. Actually, you know what? That's actually a video that we took at last year's SummitLive.
Oh, nice.
To bring this whole full circle here, but yeah, just a really cool program he does. It's super entertaining, really fun to watch, and just the nicest guy you'll ever meet too. I just have to throw that in there. So yeah, really excited to see him doing some stuff with Switcher again.
Is he going to be around in June? Did we get in touch with him? Maybe. We'll see.
Rick, I just sent you a message on Facebook, so we'll set up a time to chat. Good luck on the audition. Really excited for you on that.
I don't think we mentioned that, did we?
Oh, we didn't. No.
Check out Foamy Homies on Periscope.
I'll
doing
post
live
the
broadcasts.
link,
It's all really good stuff.
Yeah, it's fun, wholesome, good times. And he is I've never met the dude, but he seems like the best. So.
Yeah, super nice guy. Every single time we talk to him. So yeah, I think that's just going to be about a wrap for us here today. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Nick, for joining us this week. It's always nice to have you in the group or in the streams as well. Mm-hmm. Angela and Jimmy, thank you for your input as always. That's it, right? Check us out at facebook.com/SwitcherStudio, SwitcherStudio.com. Of course, Angela did mention the user group, so if you came here and you were asking or you're looking for some specific Switcher questions, we try and keep this a little more broad for everybody, but we will be doing a webinar there today at 4 p.m. Eastern, so it's in about an hour and a half. Angela and I will be live, and we'll be doing a full run-through on how to set up that first broadcast, so be sure to tune in for that if you'd like to see that as well. That's all I've got. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys.
Bye.